Hi, I'm Lisa Bedford, the Survival Mom. I have a video book review for you today, and it is on a newish book by David Crawford, author of Lights Out, and it is Collision Course. Right up front, I give it 4 stars. So if you want to stop the review right now and go run and order it on Amazon or barnesandnoble.com, be my guest. I liked Collision Course, although it was a very, very different book from Lights Out. And in Lights Out, that event was centered around the after effects of EMP. And we saw a group of men and a community band together and in very, very creative ways survive. And my husband, when he was reading Lights Out, he said, Lisa, the characters of this book had so many lucky breaks, and there were things that really weren't all that realistic. And when I met David Crawford in person a couple of weeks ago, he said that when he set out to write Collision Course, he wanted it to be really different and more realistic. And so I think maybe this might be the kind of book my husband was looking for, one in which, the main characters aren't handled bags of junk silver, they have access, to almost unlimited fuel, that kind of thing. So Collision Course tells the story of 2 main characters, 2 men, DJ and Gabe. Both of them are single and unattached, and we're first introduced to DJ. DJ is the character that we kind of bond with first, and in many ways from the beginning of the book he's extremely admirable. We read about all of his preps and all of his plans to get out of Dodge, and the city in which he lives has fallen apart. It's almost impossible to get out via highways. The police, whatever law enforcement is left, they are regulating who gets in and who gets out, and crime has skyrocketed and it's no longer safe for him to stay there. So he has a customized Polaris that he is going to use as his bug-out vehicle. And I was really intrigued. When it comes to survival fiction, prepper fiction, when the author, almost always a man, goes into incredible detail about every little tiny element, the route they're going to take, and sometimes I just get cross-eyed. Not that I can't follow detail, it's just that sometimes they're just too detailed. I thought David Crawford really struck a good balance between giving us enough detail where I felt I learned something. I learned a few things, and now I think maybe a Polaris, might be not a bad idea as a bug-out vehicle. But I was really interested to see how he packed it, the decisions he made, what he decided to leave behind, what he had to pack at the last minute. All of that was really good information. And DJ is the kind of person that if you spend time on survivalist boards, survival boards and prepper forums and so on, he's the kind of guy that seems to know it all. And he has arranged to join some other people that he really, I don't think, has ever met at some distant bug-out location. And he has it all planned out. He has a GPS, he has maps, he has all different kinds of, route A, plan B, route B. I mean, he has it all planned out. And he starts out, we just really admire this character. In the same chapter, we're introduced to another main character, Gabe. And Gabe is the exact opposite in many ways. First of all, Gabe hasn't even given a thought to being prepared or surviving. He does have a knack for gardening, and he has a really thriving garden when he isn't too drunk to tend to it, and it's out back behind his trailer that he lives in. He really doesn't come across as a successful person at all. In fact, I was kind of anticipating, after reading little snippets of him in the first few chapters, for him just to go flying off the handle and kill someone. He really does seem like that kind of person who's just right on the edge. Going back to DJ, though, DJ just gradually becomes not quite what we thought he was. And a couple of days ago, I came across a quote in some kind of a forum, or I believe it was, and this person wrote, "I can't wait for the collapse to happen, so the sheeple will get what they deserve." And I read that and thought about it, and I realized that I could actually see this DJ character writing like that. That sentiment comes out loud and clear as the book progresses. This is a person whose moral compass centers around himself and doesn't have much regard for the people around him. I got a glimpse of just how yucky this guy was when early on in the book, a family of four is trampling along and completely ill-equipped, for a hike out of Dodge, and they spot his campsite. Well, of course, he can't just let them, stumble into his campsite and maybe take things. So he calls out and he tells them, to move on, to back away. And then at one point he orders the shapely teenage daughter to bend over and pick something up just so he can check out her butt. And at that point, I got kind of squeamish inside and I thought, okay, I wanted to like this guy. I wanted to admire him. And there's something more to him than meets the eye. So I thought that was really an interesting character development by David Crawford. It was, let's face it, when we read these books, it's pretty much black and white. The good guys are good, the bad guys are bad, and once in a while, they may make a decision that surprises us, but DJ, it's not just a single decision. It is a tremendous character flaw that we see just continuing through his storyline. And Gabe, without giving away any details or spoiling this for you, he also undergoes a kind of a transformation of his character. And he becomes someone that we are not quite anticipating that he will be when we first meet him. So I would give Collision Course 4 stars based on the realistic storyline. I mean, let's face it, if there really is this collapse, if there really is a world without the rule of law, as a lot of people talk about and predict and prepare for, then there are going to be bad things that happen to good people. And there are going to be bad things that happen to the most prepared of us. That is just life. That is just kind of the roll of the dice. I mean, there's a lot of things that none of us can anticipate. So Collision Course gives us a really good, I think a good character study of two men. It gives us some helpful survival tips, including some scenarios that maybe you haven't thought of related to infrastructure, related to the types of people you might run into. I thought that was helpful just on its own. And it's a well-written book. What I have noticed in this rush to get prepper fiction out and survival fiction is that very often a lot of the books that pop up on Amazon, the storyline may be okay, but the writing leaves a lot to be desired, or the editing, or too much detail. It drags on. Whatever. This book is, it's well written. I felt that the storyline flowed nicely. I didn't get bored in it, and but it's not a real easy book to read, and I can understand why a lot of David's fans on Amazon just kind of savaged this book in reviews, and I think it's because they wanted the good guy, bad guy. They really wanted something just, very clearly, the lines are clearly drawn, and this book doesn't do that. So I do recommend this, but I can't promise you that you'll love it, just for the reasons that I have given. So I'm Lisa Bedford. My review of Collision Course by David Crawford will be posted in writing on my blog as well, www.thesurvivalmom.com. Catch me on Twitter and Facebook, Pinterest as well, and give my radio show a listen. Go to survivalmomradio.com, and there you will find my shows archived as well as 12 other hosts. And we have an all-women network that just pumps out great information every single week. We are also on Blog Talk Radio. So thank you very much for listening to this review, and I will catch you the next time around.